If you guys know how I feel about naming names in this channel, you know that I'm not about to name this person, but I heard a very reputable YouTuber that I listen to a lot of times. You know, he usually speaks facts for the most part, but it's okay to disagree, you know. But lately, or here today, he tried to scare a huge amount of the community about skill-based matchmaking being on the next Battlefield game. If you watch this channel, then you know how I feel about skill-based matchmaking. But was this YouTuber correct, or is he just speculating? Or maybe he's just rage betting? We'll find out here in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Gen Xer Show. This is Raph. You guys know Battlefield 6 is hype right now. It's a thing. I am excited myself. There will be a lot of Battlefield content in this channel, so hit that like, hit that subscribe, follow along. We'll be going in depth. So, ladies and gentlemen, skill-based matchmaking has ruined Call of Duty since 2019. Thus, this is where we are today. This is where I'm at today. It has ruined the experience for many longtime fans in the name of Activision making money, making more money, because that's just how greedy they are. The fact of the matter is, they implemented the system to protect new players, and thus the new players spend their money on silly skins, meaning more money for Activision. That is how we got to where we are today. That's how where COD got where it is today, and it pretty much opened the door for DICE to dominate the first-person shooter genre in this year's, I guess we could say cycle, but potentially moving forward. So the short of the answer you're trying to figure out right here, where it's whether or not skill-based matchmaking is a thing in Battlefield 6, short answer is yes. Battlefield 6 will feature some sort of skill-based matchmaking, but it's going to be implemented very lightly compared to what you might expect with Call of Duty. But don't expect the rigid matchmaking pool or try-hard lobbies that other games like Call of Duty have right now. It is meant to provide balance, not restriction. EA and DICE have both said they prefer chaos and fun over control. Team skill mixing is part of that vibe. If you play Battlefield 2042, like I have, and didn't feel boxed in by the skill-based matchmaking, so-called skill-based matchmaking in that game, then Battlefield 6 is just going to continue that path. Girls, boys, it's just going to be more refined. So don't stress. Don't get all bent out of shape about what a lot of these YouTubers, a lot of these clickbaiters are saying out here. Relax. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. For those of you still skeptical or even want to see what the system is in action, the open beta starts this Thursday? Yeah, the 7th. It starts on the 7th for early access. So 7 and 8, you have early access, and then on the weekend, 9 through the 10th, first weekend, open for everyone. The following week will be 14th through the 17th. And that will lead us up to the release of the full game on October 10th. So, Battlefield 6 will have some sort of matchmaking, but is only one of several matchmaking factors, not the central driver for the entire thing, not like Call of Duty does. The system's going to prioritize ping because, you know, at one point Call of Duty used to say king or ping is king. You know, player location. I should be playing with people. I'm in Georgia, by the way. I should be playing with people in Florida, South Carolina, probably North Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee. That's how I should be playing. I should be playing with those folks, not people in Japan, China, like I've been lately, people that are supposed to be sleeping, that are awake, and those that are awake sleeping. David Serlin emphasized that the skill is a minor factor used in mainly for just team balancing, not locking players into strict skills tiers. He reassured everybody that the heavy-handed skill-based matchmaking is not a plan. I know that we heard that from Activision, and Activision was full of it because we see it. We know they're lying. We know they've been caught lying several times. But I actually, for some reason, I don't know what it is, honestly, that these guys are being genuine when they're saying what they're saying. This team of developers here with DICE, EA DICE, Battlefield, it seems like they have learned their lessons, their own lessons in those of their competitors. So just like Battlefield 2042 is integrated, but not the intrusive or competitive focus. Community concerns were definitely addressed during the length of the Battlefield Labs playtest, with clarifications that the final version will keep the system lightweighted and focus on fun and chaotic warfare. All-out warfare is what a lot of Battlefield fans are asking for. They're not asking for anything out of the norm. They're not asking for anything crazy. They just want Battlefield. I want Battlefield. I actually, at first, did not care much about Battlefield, but as of late, I've been enamored. I've been falling in love with Battlefield because Call of Duty really stinks at this point. I'm tired of Call of Duty. Skill-based matchmaking ruins the experience. I don't like being manipulated when I play. I don't want my gameplay manipulated. I don't want to be put in crutch lobbies. I don't want none of that nonsense, okay? Battlefield skill-based matchmaking, if you want to call it that, is much more casual, more friendly. Think of it as a background balancing tool, right? So when you're playing in a lobby, right, which most of the complaints today are there's no server browser. If you're playing in a lobby, then they're going to try to balance that lobby out, right? They're not going to put all the good players on one side, which, by the way, Call of Duty does all the time, and put the bad players on the other. DICE is avoiding every match as feeling like it's ranked. That whole feeling of being ranked is just ridiculous. Really, I mean, if you want to play ranked, there's a rank mode. Why does Activision have to add skill-based matchmaking to the pub lobby? That just making sense to me. You know, it doesn't make sense. I think if you're going to be in any type of game, then you should have a rank system for that kind of stuff. If you're going to play in lobbies, then everybody's welcome, and it is what it is. That's just my opinion. You know, the next Battlefield, obviously, you know, the 128 players did not work out too well with Battlefield 2042. Then they got a little bit, as Vince Appella said, a little bit too ambitious when it came to trying new things. So we're going back to the probably more manageable, more accurate, better play mode. 64 versus 64 are the large scale map modes where precise skill-based matching makes a little sense. You know, you with 64 players, it's a lot hard. Call of Duty with 6 to 10 players, maybe. And I think they mostly do it with the 6v6 mode, because even with the 10v10, I don't think you see much of that. So what I gathered from the YouTuber in question here is that he thinks that EA is going to copy Activision, and the little by little fool us into thinking that skill-based matching is not in the game. But then they're going to start throwing in their little Beavis and Butthead skins. Not necessarily, but you know, that's what this YouTuber is thinking. The problem that I have with that is that although Battlefield is a first-person shooter game in the shooter genre, first-person shooter genre, it's really different from COD. Completely different from COD. Is it their own beast? You know, it's just a lot of COD players that like Call of Duty have been stuck to Call of Duty for so long. They haven't tried other things. Battlefield is unique in its own way. There have been other games out there that have tried to copy Battlefield. Many of them. Many have tried to copy Call of Duty, but right now Delta Force is one that tried to go after Call of Duty, or I'm sorry, Battlefield, and I think they failed miserably, but here we are. And depending on your flavor, it may or may not be fun like COD, or more fun than COD. I don't know. But let's talk about some of the differences. What I probably, you know, thinking, suggesting, just comparing, you know, Call of Duty as a whole, right? Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 6, Warzone, etc., to the skill-based matchmaking that people are expecting Battlefield 6 to have. So let's go ahead with the skill-based matchmaking intensity. First, in Battlefield 6, it's going to be light. Skill is one factor, not dominant, right? We'll go over to Call of Duty. It's going to be heavy. Skill is the main factor above everything else. And that is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. The primary, under feature primary factors, right? So with Battlefield 6, ping is king. Region, connection, fast, match, start, then skill. Skill's the last thing. When we go over to Call of Duty, skill rating, the KD, the win rates, the action per minute dominates. Again, extremely strict. The effect on matchmaking quality. So if you look at Battlefield 6, match skill lobbies more chaotic and casual friendly, which is what I've been experiencing with Battlefield 2042. But with Call of Duty Black Ops 6, I feel that it's tight skill lobbies. Every match feels sweaty and competitive. That is completely accurate. There's no question. There's no doubt. That's exactly how it is. So team balancing, this is probably the most important thing when it comes to Battlefield players. Yes, the light balancing after matchmaking. Absolutely. With Call of Duty, no. Lobbies are all similar. Not adjusted for teams. Absolutely not. There have been mismatches when you play Call of Duty. It's ridiculous. Solo versus squad play experience. So with Battlefield 6 squad player, if squad play is loser, mixed lobbies still are possible. So it's just random. With Call of Duty, playing with better players puts you in a much harder lobby. So you just bump up even though you are not that good of a player. In other words, you're never going to get better because they're going to randomly put you in play, games that you're just not going to get better. Lobby flow for Battlefield 6, pre-match team shuttle possible, more randomized. For Call of Duty, matches often feel like copy and paste in a skill level. Absolutely. Smurfing all account impact. Battlefield 6 has less common, doesn't radically shift experience, but in Call of Duty, very random due to strict skill-based matchmaking. Used to escape sweats. Yeah, not fun. All right, perceived fairness. Casual player feels included. Skill gaps happen every now and then. With Call of Duty, casual players often get stomped and leave after a few games. That is completely true. Developer philosophy: fun, fairness, chaos, teamwork, big maps. Call of Duty is fairness equals tight skill, but often at the cost of fun. The community reaction, mostly positive with Battlefield, as long as it's not. Very divided with Call of Duty. Some like it, many hate it, myself included. And it's definitely the sentiment of many of my friends out here, many YouTubers that you watch. And I mean, really, truthfully, I don't know how else to explain it. So at the end of the day, for Call of Duty, skill-based matchmaking has become notorious. Sweaty Call of Duty system creates a skills cages. If you're above average, like I think I am, every match feels like it's a fight for your life, a $1,000 tournament that you don't get paid for. Casual and mid players are punished if they improve, leading to complete frustration. Many veterans players like myself miss the loser lobbies of older COD games like Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2 of the old days, not the new stuff. So if you are tired of every Call of Duty match feeling like an esport qualifier, then Battlefield 6 more relaxed and will feel like a breath of fresh air. It favors match starts, mix, chaos, and casual unpredictability. Whatever I just said there. True Battlefield identity, ladies and gentlemen. Can't wait for Battlefield 6. But that said, see that link there on the right side? It's a list of Battlefield games. Click on it so you can hear more Battlefield here, but definitely subscribe for more Battlefield 6. We are going hard in this channel. Talk to you later.